Good morning students. In this video we will discuss about secondary growth in dicot stem and dicot root. So secondary growth, what is secondary growth? It is increase in girth or increase in width of stem is called secondary growth. And this secondary growth is due to vascular cambium. It is due to vascular cambium and core cambium. So these two are some lateral meristematic tissues. And lateral meristematic tissues helps in secondary growth. Primary growth means increase in length of various organs. Secondary growth means increase in girth or increase in width of stem or root. So secondary growth in dicot stem or secondary growth in dicot root, that is due to presence of or activity of vascular cambium and core cambium. So firstly we will discuss secondary growth in dicot stem. In dicot stem, the secondary growth is due to responsibility of two lateral meristematic tissues. They are vascular cambium and core cambium. So first we will discuss about vascular cambium. Vascular cambium. So what is vascular cambium? It is a meristematic tissue. It is a meristematic tissue that is responsible for cut off both xylem and phloem is called vascular cambium. A meristematic tissue which is responsible for cut off xylem and phloem is known as vascular cambium. Vascular cambium present in both young stems, young dicot stems and mature dicot stems. In young stems, this vascular cambium present in patches, half-moon patches, but whereas in mature stems, the vascular cambium present in a continuous ring. And now we will discuss how vascular cambium is formed and what is this activity and all these things. The first activity of vascular cambium, so that is the formation of vascular cambium. The formation of vascular cambium. So if you observe the number of vascular bundles in dicot stem, that is the eustelic arrangement. In dicot stem there are 15 to 20 vascular bundles present in a ring form. So this is xylem, this is phloem. So between these two there is a cambium. There is a eustelic arrangement present in dicot stem. So these are the two diagrams. These two diagrams for formation of vascular cambium. So there are number of vascular bundles. If xylem phloem present together, then it is known as vascular bundle. So in xylem and phloem, between xylem and phloem there is a cambium. This is the cambium. So this cambium is known as intrafascicular cambium. Intrafascicular cambium. Cambium present between xylem and phloem. Cambium present between xylem and phloem is known as intrafascicular cambium. And between adjacent vascular bundles, already I told you, so number of medullary rays present, and these medullary rays produce another cambium. Medullary rays produce another cambium, and this cambium is known as interfascicular cambium. Interfascicular cambium. So this is intravascular cambium and this is intervascular cambium. Intra and inter. Intravascular cambium present between xylem and phloem, and intervascular cambium present between adjacent vascular bundles. So intervascular cambium produced by medullary rays. So here both intra and intervascular cambiums, they are fused to form a continuous ring of vascular cambium. So vascular cambium, how it is formed? Both intra and intervascular cambiums. Both intra and intervascular cambiums fused to form a continuous ring of vascular cambium. That's why the origin of vascular cambium is called partly primary and partly secondary. Partly primary and partly secondary origin. Partly primary and partly secondary origin means This is the part of vascular cambium. So this the cambium, the origin of this part is primary because it is present between xylem and phloem from the starting. But this one is originated secondary. So part of vascular cambium, the origin of vascular cambium partly primary and partly secondary. So finally, a ring of vascular cambium is formed. Then the second activity, the second step is activity of vascular cambium. So after formation of vascular cambium, what is its activity in dipod stem or dipod root? The second step is activity of vascular cambium. Activity of vascular cambium. So there are two diagrams. So this is a ring of vascular cambium. This is the ring of vascular cambium. Here also, this is the ring of vascular cambium. Here, this is the secondary phloem. Secondary phloem, and this is secondary xylem. This is vascular cambium. Here also same. And there, these lines are secondary medullary rays. Secondary medullary rays are also called pith rays. So activity of vascular cambium. What is the activity of vascular cambium? This vascular cambium, the vascular cambium has two types of cells: fusiform cells and ray cells. And the fusiform cells usually eat cut off the cells towards both inner sides and outer sides. The cells which cut off towards outer side is called secondary phloem. Secondary phloem is also called bast. The cells which are cut off towards the inner side, that is called secondary xylem. Secondary xylem is nothing but wood. The fusiform cells of vascular cambium. So this is the ring of vascular cambium. This vascular cambium has two types of cells: fusiform cells and ray cells. Fusiform cells cut off the cells both outer side and inner side. Inner part is called secondary xylem and outer part is called secondary phloem. Secondary phloem is also called bast. Secondary xylem is also called wood. Due to formation of secondary xylem, the amount of secondary xylem is more than amount of secondary phloem. That is because of the vascular cambium is more active towards inner side. That's why large number of cells are added towards inner side. So amount of secondary xylem is more than amount of secondary phloem. That is because the vascular cambium is more active towards inner side. So due to formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem, primary phloem and primary xylem, they are get separated. Initially, both primary xylem and primary phloem, primary xylem and primary phloem, they are present together. See, this is the cambium. Here, the cambium divided to form secondary phloem and secondary xylem. That's why these two get separated. Primary xylem and primary phloem get separated. And the separation of primary xylem and primary phloem due to formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem, that is known as dilation. So dilation is nothing but increase in girth. So due to formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem, primary xylem and primary phloem get separated. It means so large amount of cells are accumulated in the center. That is nothing but increase in girth. So this phenomenon is also known as dilation. And secondary xylem and secondary phloem and primary phloem, they also get crushed due to continuous formation of secondary xylem. Here, secondary xylem is only permanent, and remaining all the tissues there, they get crushed. So secondary xylem is permanent, that is nothing but wood. And next ray cells. The ray cells of vascular cambium they also produce a narrow elongated parenchymatous cells. These narrow elongated parenchymatous cells, they are passed from secondary phloem to secondary xylem for radial conduction, and these elongated parenchyma cells are called secondary medullary rays. Secondary medullary rays helps in radial conduction. It means ultimately the vascular cambium produce secondary xylem, secondary phloem and secondary medullary rays. Secondary medullary rays helps in radial conduction. Secondary xylem is nothing but wood, and secondary phloem initially it helps in conduction of wood, but it gets crushed due to continuous formation of secondary xylem. So this is the activity of vascular cambium. Next, another step in vascular cambium, that is springwood and autumn wood. Third step is springwood and autumn wood. Springwood and autumn wood. The activity of vascular cambium. What is the activity of vascular cambium? Vascular cambium produce secondary xylem, secondary phloem and secondary medullary rays. But the activity of vascular cambium is influenced by a number of physiological and environmental conditions. If you observe the temperate regions, in temperate regions there is no uniform climatic conditions throughout the year. In spring season, the cambium is more active, so it produces tertiary elements like vessels. It produces vessels with white lumen. So that's why the tertiary elements which are formed during spring season, they are very active. They help in conduction of large amount of water and minerals from root to top of the plant. And the wood vessels means that they are the components of xylem. Xylem is the secondary xylem. The wood formed during spring season is called spring wood, or it is also called early wood. So in spring season there is a wood present, and this wood is known as spring wood or early wood. And in winter the cambium is less active. That's why it produces vessels but narrow lumen. Vessels with narrow lumen. And usually the wood formed during winter, that is called autumn wood, that is known as autumn wood, or that is also known as late wood. So another wood is formed. So in 1 year 2 woods are formed, one spring wood and second one is autumn wood. And these spring wood and autumn wood that appear in a alternate concentric circles. These alternate concentric circles, these rings are known as annular rings. These are called annular rings. So annular ring means both spring and autumn. Both spring wood and autumn wood, or early wood and late wood, both are collectively known as annular ring. And here a spring wood is lighter in color and it has low density, and so autumn wood is dark color and it has high density. And the transition between spring wood and autumn wood, that is slow, continuous form, but from autumn to spring, that is sudden. So that's why it has low density, it has high density. It is lighter in color, it is darker in color. So but both are collectively known as annular ring. So based on annular rings, we can easily find out the approximate age of tree. For example, if you cut the wood of any tree, that wood has 50 rings. That means the age of tree is 25 years, because in 1 year there are 2 rings. So in 25 years, how many rings are formed? Only 50. And this branch of botany is known as dendrochronology. So it is a branch of botany that deals with age of tree with the help of annular rings. So these are the two different types of woods, spring wood and autumn wood. And last step in vascular cambium, that is sapwood and heartwood. In old dicotyledonous stems, or in old dicot stem, the wood is differentiated. Into sapwood and heartwood. In old dipod stems, in young dipod stems, there is no differentiation of wood into sap and heartwood. But in old dipods, the wood is differentiated into sap and heartwood. Sapwood. So sapwood is also known as, the another name of sapwood is alburnum. So alburnum usually it is lighter in color, and it is present towards periphery. The peripheral lighter part of secondary xylem is called sapwood, or it is also called alburnum. This alburnum or sapwood, it helps in conduction of water and minerals, and gradually the sapwood is converted into heartwood. For example, so this is the wood after 3 or 4 years. So remaining after that, so when the age increases, so number of annular rings added. So firstly this is sapwood and this is hardwood. After some times, when the number of rings are increased, then it becomes hardwood, and here it is the sapwood. That's why sapwood is gradually converted into hardwood. So sapwood is able to conduct water and minerals from root to top of the plant. And next one is heartwood. Heartwood is also called duramen. The another name of heartwood is called duramen. So duramen is centrally located. It is centrally located, dark brown in color. Dark brown in color. The dark brown color of heartwood, that is due to presence of resins, gums, oils, enzymes, essential oils, etc. So due to presence of all these organic compounds, the color of duramen is dark brown in color. And this duramen, the duramen or heartwood, it does not conduct water and minerals due to presence of tyloses. So what are tyloses? If you remember the components of xylem, what are the components of xylem? Vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. If you observe this, if you think this is a xylem vessel, so in adjacent xylem parenchyma present. In some cases, the xylem parenchyma cells enter into xylem vessels to form balloon-like structures. These balloon-like intrusions, the balloon-like intrusions of xylem parenchyma into xylem vessels are called tyloses. Due to presence of tyloses, the lumen is blocked. That's why the heartwood does not conduct water and minerals, but heartwood gives mechanical support to the older parts. But due to presence of tyloses, what are tyloses? The balloon-like xylem parenchyma cells into xylem vessels is called tyloses. And these tyloses, the tyloses check the entry of pathogenic fungi and bacteria. Fungi and bacteria, these two have the ability to digest wood, but due to presence of tyloses, they are unable to enter and they are unable to digest. That's why the durability of heartwood is increases. So hence it is also known as duramen. If any wood contains large amount of heartwood, then its economic value also increases. So these are the two different types of woods present in old dipod stems. So finally, the activity of vascular cambium is completed. Then another meristematic tissue which is responsible for secondary growth, that is cork cambium. So as dipod stem continuously grow in width and girth, then the girth of the dipod stem increases. The girth of the dipod stem increases due to continuous formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So as a result, outer cortex and epidermis is broken. So it is need to be replaced by another protective layer. Sooner or later, the outer cortical cells, if you observe the TS of dipod stem, this is epidermis, near hypodermis present, here cortex present. So here secondary xylem and secondary phloem form. So due to continuous formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem, some pressure exerted on this side. So that's why these two are broken. So when they are broken, so internal tissues protection is questionable. That's why here it is a need to replace another protective layer. For that, some of the cortical cells produce a continuous bilayered meristematic tissue, that is nothing but cork cambium. Meristematic tissue produced by cortical cells, and this is called cork cambium. A fully cork cambium, a fully meristematic tissue, cork cambium produced by, in many cases, it is produced by cortical cells. So cork cambium is a bilayer. It is made up of narrow parenchymatous cells. And this cork cambium, the cork cambium cut off the cells on both outer sides and inner side. The outer cells are usually dead cells, and these dead cells are called cork. These outer dead cells are called cork. They are cork. And inside it produces living cells. And these inner living cells are called secondary cortex. So when epidermis and cortex broken, the outer cortical cells produce a bilayered meristematic tissue that is called cork cambium. So cork cambium is a fully meristematic cells. So meristematic tissue has the ability to divide. So it divide to produce outer and inner cells. Outer cells are usually dead cells, and these dead cells are called cork. Cork is also called phellum. The cells of cork is impervious to water due to presence of suberin in their cell walls. The cells of cork is impervious to water due to presence of suberin in their cell walls. And the secondary cortex they are living cells. They are permeable to water. And cork cambium, the another name of cork cambium is phyllogen. And another name of secondary cortex is phylloder. And these three collectively known as cork cambium, secondary cortex, phellum, phyllogen, phylloder. These three collectively known as periderm. And this periderm acts as secondary protective layer. In the place of epidermis and cortex. And sometimes, so usually cork cambium helps in the formation of periderm. Periderm acts as a secondary protective layer. All outer dead cells of vascular cambium. Is called bark. So bark is of two types, soft and hard. Soft bark and hard bark. So bark includes, so what are the tissues which are under bark? Secondary phloem, primary phloem, periderm. So periderm means all these layers. So all these tissues are present outside vascular cambium. Inside vascular cambium there is one tissue, that is secondary cortex, secondary xylem. So outside, all these tissues are present outside the vascular cambium. So they are called bark. So bark includes primary phloem, secondary phloem and periderm. And bark is every year that is removed. And in first season the bark is formed, that is early bark or soft bark. In second season the bark is formed, that is late bark or hard bark. Or sometimes the vascular cambium is more active. Then it produces a living parenchymatous cells instead of cork cells. And these cells are called complementary cells. Complementary cells. And these complementary cells have lens-shaped openings, and these lens-shaped openings are called lenticels. Lenticels helps in exchange of gases in older parts. In younger parts, exchange of gases takes place through stomata, whereas in older parts, exchange of gases occurs through lenticels. What are lenticels? Lens-shaped openings present in epidermis due to presence of complementary cells is known as lenticels, and lenticels helps in exchange of gases in older parts. So this is the finally secondary growth in dicot stem. So initially girth increases. Due to increase in girth, the outer cells are broken. So broken cells are replaced by periderm. So secondary xylem, secondary phloem, secondary medullary race. These three are produced by vascular cambium and periderm produced by core cambium. Finally, girth increases and it is protected by another protective layer. So this is the secondary growth in dicot stem.